What's up guys? Today I'm going to show you guys one of my favorite jerky recipes. I kind of just threw something together a few years back and ended up loving it. So I am a sweet meat type of guy. I love teriyaki jerky. The sweeter the better. I have a whole tub that I marinated overnight of bison. I just got my bison back from the meat locker. I had them slice 20 pounds of raw jerky meat and I did it pretty thin. I like my jerky relatively thin, not too thick but not too thin where it just turns into a potato chip either. So you guys can do this with any beef, any other wild game. If you go to your local meat locker, if you just go in there and tell them you want to make jerky, most of the time they'll slice roasts however thickness you want. Some do, some don't, but you just gotta check your local meat lockers. I've done this with wild game before, venison, where I just take roasts on my meat slicer and slice it thin and do the same thing. But this was easy. They were processing it and they got it all cut for me. So like I said, I marinated this overnight. The marinade consists of this, and then, like I said, I just threw this together a few years ago, and it's something I like. You guys can play around with how much you want on any of this stuff. If you don't like it as sweet, obviously don't use as much. But first thing we did, half a cup of olive oil. I used 1 full bottle of the Mendes teriyaki sauce with the sesame seeds in it. I did about 2 tablespoons, you can do 2 to 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar or any other vinegar, a tablespoon of A1 sauce. I did about a cup of orange juice. I think we did about 4 to 5 tablespoons of agave. Now, this is super sweet, and one of the reasons why I use this is very sweet for its concentrate. And then I also use honey as well. So I mix these two. One thing that I don't have up here because I used the last of it is brown sugar. I also put about a half a cup of brown sugar. You can get real crazy and even do a cup. But like I said, use this. The honey I did about a half a cup as well. Mix all that stuff in. One other thing that's not in here is a bottle of sesame oil. I did about 2 tablespoons of sesame oil as well. And you'll get a small amount of liquid. Now, depending on how much meat you're trying to marinate, obviously you're gonna need more or less liquid in there. I did about 4 cups of water in that as well, and just mix that all together and then put all my meat in. Make sure all the meat is completely covered, and I just saran wrapped it, put it in the fridge overnight. You know, about 24 hours is pretty good. I've left it in there for like 2 days, and you're just gonna get more flavor the longer you leave it in there. So we just got the timberline all set up, and I'm gonna go start putting these on racks, and we're gonna get that in the grill. All right, so I just realized as I came back in here to clean up, I didn't tell you guys how much of the Traeger rubs that I put in there. So I did about, I went with the coffee and prime rib rub. These two combined are probably my favorite to put on red meat. I love the coffee flavor, and the two mixed together are freaking unreal. So I did about a 1/4 cup of each in the marinade, and just mixed that all in too. So sorry I forgot that, guys. All right, so we got this timberline preheating at 180. I'm gonna do them at 180, and it should take about 4 to 5 hours. You want it, you know, you want the jerky to bend a little bit, but not too wet still. So it usually takes about 4 to 5 hours. We're gonna load these racks up and play the waiting game. All right guys, so we're about three and a half hours into this. So now we're gonna add my secret weapon here. So what I did is I just heated up a little bit of honey, and I'm gonna brush that on for the last 45 minutes to an hour of cooking and get like a nice honey glaze on these things. I told you before, I like the sweet meat. You don't have to do a ton on here, just lightly coat them, and that honey will crystallize and be freaking delicious. So that's it. So easy peasy. I mean, other than it having to wait for 4 hours, super simple recipe. Marinated overnight once it's sliced and you got all that stuff put together, and then you smoke it on the Traeger for 4 hours. And that is a wrap. Let's get these suckers off. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you on the next one.